As part of the UKG rollout, we are standardizing how probation is managed across the business. Probation is a critical period where expectations are set early, performance is reviewed regularly, and support or corrective action can be applied in real time. The monthly probation process is designed to create consistency, fairness, and clarity for both employees and managers. Employees complete a self-assessment first, encouraging reflection and shared accountability. Supervisors then review this, apply professional judgment based on evidence, and discuss outcomes openly. Each probation review must result in a clear next step. UKG supports the process, but responsibility for decisions and conversations remains with the manager. To access probation reviews in UKG, open the menu using the burger icon. From here, select Team, then Talent, and choose Performance. This area displays all performance-related tasks assigned to you, including probation reviews for your team. UKG will automatically notify you at the first, second, and third month probation anniversaries, ensuring reviews are completed on time. Select the relevant task to open the probation review and begin the process. The probation review begins with the employee. When the task becomes available, the employee is prompted to complete a self-assessment within UKG. They are asked to review their performance over the month, select ratings against each area, and provide short supporting comments. This self-assessment encourages reflection and helps the employee consider how they are performing against expectations. Once submitted, the review is passed to the supervisor for review and discussion. When an employee opens their review, they will see the header My Performance Review. The first page presents as an information page. This page confirms that the review forms part of the monthly probation process and is completed ahead of the review meeting. It explains that the review includes rating and comment sections covering core values, competencies, and development and goals, and that performance is considered across the month as a whole, rather than isolated days or one-off situations. The page also introduces the rating scale, where green scores, between 7 and 9, represent the expected standard during probation. Finally, it explains that the employee's submission is reviewed by the supervisor, discussed during the probation meeting, and that final probation decisions are based on management review, not self-assessment alone. At the bottom there is a link to assist with a how-to video. The Information tab provides an overview of the probation review. It confirms the review stage, the period covered, key dates, and the current status of the review. This section also includes an audit record, showing when actions were taken and by whom, providing transparency and traceability throughout the probation process. The Entry tab is where the main probation review is completed. This section brings together scoring and supporting comments across both core values and competencies, providing a balanced view of performance and behavior during the probation period. The core values section focuses on how you work day to day. This is not about effort alone, and it is not about isolated good or bad days. It looks at how consistently you apply expected behaviors while carrying out your role. When scoring core values, you should think about what your normal way of working looks like. This includes how you approach tasks, how you interact with others, and how reliably you follow instructions and standards over time. Core values cover 10 areas. Together, these areas describe how work is carried out, not just what is delivered. For example, quality and accuracy are about whether work is done right first time, not how fast it is completed. Teamwork looks at how you support others and contribute to shared goals, not whether you simply get on with people. Communication looks at how clearly information is shared and understanding is confirmed, not how confident you feel. Meeting deadlines and prioritization focus on how you manage your workload while maintaining safety and quality. Decision-making looks at how you use judgment within your role and when you seek guidance or escalate issues. Integrity and attendance focus on reliability, professionalism, and following company expectations consistently. Understanding of the business and customer focus, consider how aware you are of the wider impact of your role. This includes how your actions affect other teams, customer quality, service, and delivery. Scores in the core values should reflect your overall behavior across the full review period. A green score means you are meeting the expected standard for this stage of probation, by working reliably, following standards, and demonstrating expected behaviors consistently. Supporting comments should be based on real examples from your day-to-day work. Avoid repeating the descriptions shown on screen, and avoid general statements or opinions. Instead, focus on what you actually did, how you worked, and how consistently those behaviors were demonstrated over time. The competencies section focuses more closely on role understanding and progress during probation. While core values look at how you work day to day, competencies focus on how well you are learning the role and developing over time. This section covers understanding of main duties, achievements during probation, key strengths, areas for improvement, and goals for the coming period. Together, these areas assess not only current performance, but learning, progress, and what is expected next. Understanding of main duties looks at how well you understand your core responsibilities and apply procedures, instructions, and guidance in your work. Achievements during probation focus on progress made and milestones reached since starting. Key strengths identify behaviors you demonstrate consistently that positively support your work, safety, or the team. Areas for improvement focus on self-awareness, how you respond to feedback, and actions taken to improve. Goals for the coming period look ahead and consider what you should focus on next and how this links to your role. Each competency includes guidance on what is being measured and what meeting expectations looks like. This guidance explains the standard being assessed, but it is not wording to repeat. Green scores, between 7 and 9, represent the expected standard during probation and indicate consistent, reliable performance. Throughout the competencies section, emphasis is placed on evidence. Comments should reflect performance across the full review period and be supported by real examples, not isolated incidents. This structured approach helps ensure probation reviews are fair, consistent, and meaningful, supporting honest discussion and clear decision-making as probation progresses. Once the employee has completed their self-assessment, they submit the review in UKG. Once the employee submits their self-assessment, UKG automatically notifies the supervisor. The supervisor will receive the notification in a similar way. They open the notification and select the review button in the bottom right corner to access the probation review. This opens the supervisor view of the review. The supervisor is then presented with the performance review header, followed by the first instructions page, which confirms their responsibility to review, confirm, or adjust the assessment based on evidence. Before entering any scores or comments, the supervisor should first confirm they are reviewing the correct employee, ensuring all information is accurate and fair. Once confirmed, they can then proceed to the entry page to begin the review. In the Entry tab, the supervisor is presented with the employee's self-assessment. This includes the scores and supporting comments the employee has submitted across core values and competencies. The purpose of this view is not to validate the self-assessment automatically. It is to review it critically against observed performance, available evidence, and the required standard for the role. When reviewing core values, supervisors should focus on how the employee works day to day. This includes behaviors such as quality and accuracy of work, teamwork, communication, meeting deadlines, decision-making, integrity, attendance, understanding of the business, and customer focus. Supervisors should consider whether the ratings accurately reflect performance across the full review period. Scores should not be based on individual days, isolated incidents, or good intentions alone, but on consistent patterns of behavior over time. Where employee scores align with performance and evidence, they can be confirmed. Where they do not, supervisors must adjust the ratings to ensure they provide a factual and honest reflection of performance. It is important that ratings are not inflated to avoid difficult conversations. Overly high scores do not prepare employees for the standards expected when working at SMARTS and can create false confidence or misaligned expectations. Equally, ratings should not be lowered to send a message or make a point. All scores must reflect what has actually been observed and evidenced during the review period. Comments recorded at this stage should be clear, objective, and supported by examples. These may include evidence relating to quality of work, attendance, safety, compliance, reliability, or contribution to the team. Consistent, evidence-based scoring supports early development, clearer feedback, and fair probation outcomes. Accurate ratings protect the employee, the supervisor, and the business by ensuring expectations are clear from the outset. This review stage is a key checkpoint in the probation process. Honest, evidence-based assessment at this point supports fair decisions and successful outcomes as probation progresses. In the competencies section, supervisors review how effectively the employee is performing the core skills required for their role. This includes both technical competence and the ability to apply skills consistently in a working environment. The employee's self-assessment provides an initial view of how they believe they are performing. However, the purpose of this section is not to automatically accept those ratings. Supervisors must assess each competency against observed performance, available evidence, and the required standard for the role, using the job description as a point of reference. When reviewing competencies, supervisors should consider whether the employee can carry out tasks safely, accurately, and independently where required. This may include machine operation, systems use, quality checks, problem solving, adherence to procedures, and compliance with safety and work instructions. Ratings should reflect performance across the full review period, not isolated tasks, one-off successes, or early learning stages that have not yet stabilized. Where employee scores accurately reflect demonstrated capability and evidence, they can be confirmed. Where they do not, supervisors must adjust ratings to provide a factual and realistic view of competence. Ratings should not be inflated to accelerate progression or avoid further training. Equally, they should not be reduced to manage behavior or motivation. Comments should clearly explain the reasoning behind each rating and reference relevant examples, such as task consistency, error rates, training progress, or supervision required. Accurate competency ratings support targeted development, safe working practices, and fair probation outcomes as the employee progresses. Once you've completed your scoring, do not submit the review but save it. If you submit it, the review is locked, the employee can see it before your meeting, and you cannot amend the scores or comments. The one-to-one meeting is the point where the supervisor and the employee sit together to discuss the saved probation or review in detail. This meeting is an opportunity to talk through the review openly, explain how scores have been reached, and ensure there is a shared understanding of performance, expectations, and next steps. At this stage, the supervisor should go to their notifications, reopen the review, and return to the entry page. On the entry page, the supervisor will still have the ability to amend scores or update comments where required. This allows changes to be made live, as part of the discussion, rather than after the fact. If the conversation highlights information that has not previously been considered, such as additional context, examples, or clarification, scores can be revisited and adjusted at this point, with the employee present. The supervisor can then continue through the review, looking at the remaining scores and talking these through with the employee. This helps ensure the employee understands how the assessment links to their performance and the required standard for the role. Once the discussion is complete and any agreed changes have been made, the review should be saved. The supervisor can then move to the summary page, which displays the final outcome of the review. This page shows the overall score and the average results across the full probation or review period. Supervisors may also scroll down and discuss the individual scores across the core values. At this stage, detailed comments are not visible on the summary page. Only once the one-to-one meeting has taken place should the form be submitted. When submission is selected, a further notification is sent to the supervisor to confirm that the review is ready for final submission. This check is in place to prevent the review being released before the one-to-one discussion has taken place. Submitting the form makes the final results visible to the employee. Once the check has been completed, the supervisor can confirm submission. The review is then sent to the employee, who will be able to view the outcome and electronically sign the form, completing the process. The employee will receive an email notification, as well as a task in UKG, requesting an electronic signature. They should log into UKG, open their to-do items, and select the review that is awaiting signature. This will take them directly to the completed review, where they can read the information carefully before signing. Once opened, they can scroll through the full review and take time to read the content carefully. This allows the employee to understand the final scores, comments, and any actions that have been recorded before signing. They will then be prompted to open the menu in the top right corner and select Sign as Employee. Finally, the employee will be asked to confirm their signature by entering their password. This step confirms their identity and completes the electronic signature process. Once the employee has signed, the supervisor will receive a notification to acknowledge that the probation review has been completed. Thank you for taking the time to understand the probation review process. Following this sequence ensures decisions are fair, evidence-based, and clearly understood by everyone involved. Probation is a structured management process that supports consistency, clarity, and good outcomes across smart systems. Thank you for watching.